Ads, SEO, content, traditional methods. What's the best marketing strategy for 2024? And is it truly possible to make over 7 figures for your business? Granted, there are actually a billion ways you can market yourself and your service. But today in this video, let me actually walk you through all the most common lead gen and marketing methods possible. Okay, to actually let you decide which makes the most sense for you to sort of invest your time and effort into to make that sweet 7 figures. Okay, in order for us to actually compare and find the best marketing methods, we'll use these 5 metrics of comparison. And let's first begin with the difficulty. Okay, this is going to be deciding the toughness to execute and effort required to do so. Okay, second, cost. What is our investment or expense required? Third is consistency and predictability. How predictable and consistent this method is. Deal size, whether the size of the transaction is going to be large or a small one. And lastly will be where we look at the competition, okay, how competitive a marketing method is compared to the many others. Okay, now let's first look at cold outreach, right? That's your cold call, door knocking, etc. Okay, when I first started, and I bet all of us, right, cold outreach was definitely the best. It's free. All we had to do there was to actually accumulate volume and actually keep doing it, right? All I had to do was to work on the script, answers prospects pinpoint, and those uncertain comments like, oh, I don't think this will actually bring me enough leads. Oh, give me time to think. All this has to be answered whether you like it or not. Once you finalize the script, it's actually not that hard to execute. But the downside with this is that we all run out of leads someday, and usually most times these leads aren't that high quality anyways. So door knocking as well, to me, is kind of the worst. Though you learn the most, the leads you actually meet are super unqualified and they don't treat you too seriously most of the time. For that reason, I will actually give cold calls and door knocking hard. Now for the cost. Unless we are calculating electricity bills and phone bills here, right? I'm placing it at $0, right? It's relatively free for the most part. Not much to explain there. Consistency and predictability here, to me, it's pretty much low. I like something that will consistently generate me a good return upon an input. So this requires constant effort for cold outreach, so not really too predictable. Clearly, cold outreach methods aren't guaranteed, right? I won't end up with like 10 numbers every block I visit. For that, I'll give it a low. Now, deal size. Realistically speaking, if we go and look for landed property owners, they won't entertain us, right? We can knock on condos, we can only knock on HDBs. All that's left us is actually attack HDB and just hit volume, right? If you're selling real estate, chances are you probably meet with people that are looking to upgrade or downgrade, right? If you're lucky, which still is kind of rare, you'll meet a shark that probably wants to get a condo or a landed property. For that reason, I believe it's around low to mid for cold outreach, right? But if you manage to land a landed client through cold outreach methods, kudos to you, man, you prove me wrong. Lastly, competition, right? Competition, when you don't have any capital, when you're new, what else can you do? Every new agent is doing cold outreach method. A lot of people are already doing it, so quite high competition there. Cold outreach, pros and cons. For a start, it's pretty good. It's good for you to learn the ropes, hone all your skill sets, get your ego broken, right? The big downside here though is that it's super inconsistent, right? And majority of the time, the deals you get from there might not make too much sense for our time. So that's it for cold outreach. Time for paid ads, right? Paid ads. Okay, you need a basic understanding of the marketing, creating offers. So in my opinion, the kind of funnel you can use also determines how well paid ads will do for you. And with that, I'll give you a solid mid to high, right? Definitely not the easiest and definitely not the hardest as well. Cost-wise, in order for you to actually substantially see any form of leads, you will be spending ideally around 1 to 3K, right? Which will be a good amount to start with if you want to see a profitable ROI. So for that fact, cost price definitely a bit higher as compared to the rest. Here's what I like about paid ads the most. It's consistent and it's predictable. If I can predictably put in like 1K, right, to generate 20 leads, that eventually turns into a sale, making me 10 Gs from that. Now, doesn't that make sense to you? To me, it's a no-brainer, right? Closest to actually printing money that you can get to in this day and age. So predictability and consistency is an easy high for me right here. And unless you end up posting something dumb as an ad, then that's probably not the case. Next, deal size. When you're running paid ads, not everyone is going to be looking for exactly what you're going to advertise. So deal size, I'ma just put like varies, right? With that said, let's move on to competition. Okay, a while back, I thought that everyone literally knows how to run paid ads. make it work. But in the recent days, I've actually reached this conclusion that actually are a lot of realtors that are still in fact relying on traditional methods. So that's a myth for me, right? Overall, in my opinion here with paid ads, right? Paid ads are sort of the natural progression if you want to start imposing leverage into the business. Then again, it will be kind of costly, especially if you're uninformed and you're just blind testing, right? Anyways, if you want to see more videos walking through paid ads, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll do it. Okay, with that said, let's get to warm outreach. Warm outreach generally means your friends, your families, or people that already do know you. Okay, difficulty level for this shouldn't be too hard to talk to someone that you previously already know, so I give that as a low, yeah, as compared to a cold. Cost-wise, we're not counting bills here, so low it is. Consistency and predictability, 2 questions I like to ask. How big is your network? And how many property deals do you constantly receive? Chances are, majority of us won't have a positive answer to both of these questions, so for that, I'll put as low. Same for ads here. These are your contacts. They might have different income levels. Again, deal size depends. Now for competition, that's kind of invalid too, because your family probably will choose to work with you unless there's something a competitor does that you probably can't, and that's when you actually need to start working on your skill sets. So that's for warm outreach. I believe there's not too much to say here for warm outreach except for the fact that it should always be the top priority because there's close to no competition, and the cost incurred to actually acquire a warm contact is literally free. Okay, so with that said, now that we've covered cold outreach, paid ads, and warm outreach, let's dive into content. So content to start really isn't too difficult. However, to execute this on a large scale, it requires you to build your brand on your behalf. That actually takes a lot of time. Okay, so for that fact, I'll place it as a mid difficulty. Cost to be doing so close to zero as well. Maybe a couple of bucks if you're looking to get a Bluetooth mic, a ring light, and other miscellaneous stuff. But it's completely fine to even start with a phone. Consistency and predictability, that will be a low to mid. You might get a shit ton of leads one day and not a lot another. Plus, it requires a lot of time to build. On the upside though, I will place it as a low to mid because if you're looking to scale content as sort of a lead generation method, right, you can always increase the volume of posts you do, right? You increase the volume, you increase the reach. Eventually, you'll see leads. Okay, deal size. I might have said high somewhere before in the past, but I believe that if you have leads coming in, you can filter and pick those that you want to work with that are actually qualified clients. So for that nature of this experiment, right, the deal size here will still put vary if you look at all the potential deals and leads you will get. Okay, so in general, general answer for that. Okay, for that varies for deal size. Now we're down to competition, right? Okay, I truly believe that for competition, you are your own brand. There's no such thing as oversaturation with branding. You just have to get better and be more interesting. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go with low for content, and not gonna lie, kind of biased with content. If not, you won't be seeing me here today. So anyways, educating your prospects and clients with content is one of the best things that you can do, right? When to serve whoever it is you're working with, which is why I do what I'm doing and you're even watching this video in the first place. Though the caveat here is that with content, right, it's super time consuming and might cost you if you're looking to actually scale content as a lead generation method. So do keep that in mind when you're doing content, especially if you're newer in the business. Now knowing this, right, this table and all that, I'm gonna show you the 3 levels of business so you know when is the right time to actually utilize which of these 4 marketing methods and how it actually fits with your current situation. Okay, so stay tuned to the end also because this will give you the utmost clarity, especially when creating a plan of action, right? Okay, so well, first, let's start off with noob. Let's say you earn about 0 to 10k revenue, probably about noob. And at this stage, I will highly recommend you doing warm and cold outreach methods. Reason being, there's absolutely no cost to it. Just straight up knocking at people's door, pitching your idea, pick up as many phones as possible, calling as many people as possible. Okay, the only fee you're paying here is your time and a few insignificant cents for your electricity bills. As for warm outreach, your friends will be the easiest bet for you. Next off, we have the vast majority of you guys watching, which are amateurs, right? Making more than 10k but less than 50k. This is where you start to see an exponential success in your company, in your business, and you're hoping to scale it further, right? Your best bet here will be switching from cold outreach to paid ads while still holding on to warm outreach. Why so? Due to the fact that your revenue is starting to increase, you have more funds to spend, and here's where you actually trade your money for time. Doing paid ads will allow you to attain more qualified clients interested in in your products or your services you are providing. But however, for cold outreach, you have to spend a lot of wasted time finding clients. Don't get me wrong though, like you can still do it, but paid ads gives you a higher chance to reach to the desired prospect, allowing you to have more time focused on serving your clients at the higher level. Last but not the least, the beast mode category, right? If you're here, good job for you. You're doing well. You're earning a whopping 50k plus a month revenue, and you're now looking to get clients consistency without the need to source for clients. You probably guessed it, it has the lowest competition, and furthermore, it costs absolutely nothing unless you are looking for a team to help you with your social media game. Here, this is making content on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram that allows you to create a compounding leverage that all the other methods won't see. Okay, so let's say today I post 10 videos, they didn't get any views. 1 month later, I made a viral video. Those initial 10 that I've made will now start gaining attention and help actually lay the seeds into the minds of your prospect, with every piece of content now being a mini ad that sells for you. So if you're over 0 to 15k, I also do recommend working on content, but if you just got to the amateur stage and have yet to sort of navigate the waters of paid ads, right, I suggest doing that first. Once you have like sort of the short-term part of your business settled, you want to actually be investing in the long-term vision of your business and building a strong brand that actually wraps all that together is a bet that I'm willing to take any day. Okay, so to recap this video, if you are a noob below 10k in revenue, rely on cold and warm outreach, focus on honing your core skill sets that a professional or a mentor in the industry has. Once you're an amateur already, here's where you start relying on paid ads. Trade your money for time and leverage. Okay, lastly, when you're a pro, where you start looking at building and creating your brand that will eventually generate you inbound pre-sold leads as you plant seeds and deliver value into the marketplace. One more important thing to note here, please do take note that these levels and stages are with a grain of salt. Okay, if you're in the noob level and you start at 5k, by all means, please do look at paid ads and just don't limit yourself with what's stated here. Of course, proceed this with caution, and when the time's not right, don't try to force the next stage as well. And with that said, keep it up with your business, and I'll see you at the top. And comment what you want to see next. See you in the next one.